when a storm unlike any seen before tears through the skies of Midgard. Thor, God of Thunder, knows something ancient has awakened. But when Perseus, the famed hero of Greek legend, arrives in Asgard with a warning that the Kraken, a twisted fusion of Norse and Greek magic, has returned to haunt the seas, it becomes clear that gods and monsters from both realms are now intertwined in a battle for survival. As Hades seeks to turn the world to stone with Medusa's cursed gaze, Thor and Perseus must unite their might to face an enemy that threatens to unleash chaos upon both Asgard and Olympus. But in this clash of gods, no victory comes without sacrifice. The skies over Midgard darkened as an unnatural storm churned in the heavens. It was unlike any storm Thor had ever witnessed, ancient, primal, and brimming with rage. Deep within the shadows of this tempest, something stirred, a force forgotten by time itself. Thor, God of Thunder, stood at the edge of the Bifrost, gazing into the storm's eye. Heimdall, Thor called over his shoulder. What creature conjures such a fury? Heimdall, ever vigilant, closed his eyes to focus, his sight piercing through the veil of time and space. It is not a creature of Asgard alone. I see Greece, an ancient power awakened. But something more stirs in the deep, something older. Suddenly, Thor's senses sharpened. He heard the screech of the Bifrost, as if the cosmos itself screamed. From the shadows stepped a man, armored and scarred, carrying a curved sword of gleaming bronze. His presence alone sent shivers across the air. Perseus, Thor exclaimed, recognizing the demigod, hero of Greek legends. Perseus raised his head, his brow furrowed in determination. Thor, God of Thunder, I seek your aid. The Kraken has returned. The Kraken? Thor smirked, gripping the handle of Stormbreaker. I've fought many beasts, Perseus. Why do you bring me this tale? Perseus's face darkened. This is no mere sea monster. The Kraken has been twisted by ancient magic. It is not the beast of my past. It is a fusion of the Midgard serpent, Jormungandr, and the Kraken itself. Poseidon's curse has mingled with Odin's forgotten relics. This creature now haunts the seas of Midgard with the fury of both gods. Thor's eyes narrowed. If what Perseus said was true, then the beast was not only powerful, but nearly unstoppable. A hybrid of Jormungandr and the Kraken would dwarf anything Thor had faced before. Then we shall bring down the storm upon it together, Thor declared. As the two legends stood ready to depart, Heimdall's voice interrupted them. There is more. His eyes gleamed with urgency. The Kraken has been unleashed by a greater threat, a force who commands the deadliest powers of Olympus and Asgard alike, Hades. Thor's heart quickened. If Hades had a hand in this, then the underworld itself was involved. What does he seek? Perseus's grip tightened on his sword, and from beneath his cloak, he produced a shimmering, severed head. The snake hair coiled and hissed, its eyes shut tightly, Medusa's head. He seeks to harness the gaze of Medusa, Perseus growled, to turn gods and monsters alike to stone. He means to bind us all, Thor. Even you. Thunder roared across the sky as Thor turned, the weight of the situation settling heavily on his shoulders. If Hades could unleash the Kraken, empowered by both Greek and Norse magics, and wield Medusa's petrifying gaze, all of Midgard and Asgard were in peril. Then we have no time to waste. The seas churned as the mighty Kraken emerged from the depths, a twisted monstrosity of serpentine coils, tentacles, and gleaming scales. Its very roar sent waves crashing against the shores of Greece and the coasts of Norway. Above it, lightning split the sky, but it was no ordinary storm. Thor and Perseus stood aboard a Viking longship, racing toward the beast. As the Kraken reared its head, Jormungandr's influence was unmistakable. Its eyes glowed with cosmic malice, and its breath was venomous. The tentacles writhed, coiling around the ship like the grip of death itself. Perseus, Thor shouted, I'll distract it. You deliver the killing blow. Thor leaped into the sky, spinning Stormbreaker with a roar. The hammer axe blazed with thunder as it cleaved through the Kraken's tentacles, sending arcs of lightning across the darkened waters. The beast shrieked, and Thor flew higher, drawing its attention away from Perseus. Perseus, standing steady at the bow of the ship, raised his bronze sword, the blade of Zeus himself, and then reached into his satchel, withdrawing Medusa's head. His grip was tight, his movements deliberate. This time, Medusa's gaze was not his enemy, but his greatest weapon. With one final sweep, Thor crashed into the Kraken, hammering it with all the strength of 1,000 storms. The monster's body convulsed, writhing in pain, but still, it did not fall. Now, Perseus, Thor shouted. Perseus raised the head of Medusa and pointed it toward the Kraken's glaring eyes. The monster shrieked, its gaze locking with the cursed visage of the Gorgon. In an instant, its flesh began to harden. The venomous coils of Jormungandr slowed, the tentacles turned to stone, and the once mighty Kraken froze, its twisted form becoming nothing more than a monstrous statue, an immortalized creature, forever locked in a state of agony. The skies cleared, and the seas calmed. Thor landed on the deck of the ship, breathing heavily. Perseus, too, was worn from the battle, but victorious. This was only the beginning, Perseus said, lowering the head of Medusa back into his satchel. Hades won't stop here. Thor nodded, the weight of the coming storm pressing on him. Then we will be ready, Perseus. Asgard and Olympus may be divided, but together we shall face the darkness and conquer it. As the two heroes stared into the fading horizon, the world knew that they, sons of gods, had struck the first blow against a threat far greater than themselves. The Kraken was defeated, but the war between realms had only begun.